for a minute about the kind of community that you want to live in. If you're in any kind of business, you want a community where people are financially well off so they can be customers and purchase your goods and services. You want a community full of smart, well-trained people who you can hire as employees and consultants to make your business more successful. We all want a community where we feel safe. We all want, not to be worried about crime against ourselves or our family or our property. We all want a community where the government has enough revenue to provide important services like great schools and well-paved roads. We all want a community where people don't have to rely on government or charitable assistance because they're employed at jobs that provide a living wage, at least. So what's needed to create this community? What's the one thing that can produce a community with prosperous residents, an intelligent, well-trained workforce, low crime rates, public investment in widely valued services, with little need for services for the indigent? That's what a community looks like when all of its residents are able to be successful in the pursuit of education. People who finish high school and post-secondary training or education earn more, commit fewer crimes, pay more taxes, add more skills to the workforce, and have less need for assistance than those who don't finish high school or pursue post-secondary training. So why doesn't everybody just go to school, work hard, and do well? We provide everyone with that opportunity, don't we? Every single child is entitled to 13 years of free education in this country. It's one of the very few things that we as a nation have agreed is a universal right. You went to school and did well, right? And probably just about everyone you know did as well. With all due respect for your efforts in school, thinking that everybody should be able to do what you did is a little bit like being born on third base and thinking that you hit a home run. Unless you're a public school teacher, chances are you do not personally know a child living in poverty. But almost 14% of the children in this county live in poverty. Nearly 28% are living in economic hardship. That's defined as twice the poverty line, which is about $31,000 for a single parent and a kid, with one kid. A lot of people in Sonoma County find those numbers hard to believe. That's because we don't knowingly see poor people in the course of our daily lives. We don't see them in part because they go to great lengths to just blend in. And in part because this community, like so many others, is segregated by economic class. So since you don't knowingly see them every day, I'm going to tell you a story about some of the kids who have to run all the bases to get to home plate. These kids are fictional, but their stories are rooted in reality. One of the purposes of fiction is to tell truths memorably, to help the audience to feel those truths. The story's about 3 kids. They live in the south part of Santa Rosa, and they attend schools in the Bellevue School District. There's Jeremy. Jeremy's dad is in prison, and his mom struggles with addiction. Sophia has a dad who's disabled, so her mom is supporting the entire family, which includes a grandmother and 3 kids, on her salary as a home health aide. Now, our third person, Vanessa, her parents are working, both of them, but neither of them speaks much English. Jeremy's mom, Jeremy's the one whose dad is in prison, mom's struggling with addiction. His mom didn't have the world's best upbringing, and she did not do well in school herself. So she just didn't know anything about her role in promoting her child's cognitive development. She didn't know that it was important to talk to Jeremy when he was a baby or a toddler in order to help him develop those neural pathways for language. There aren't any books in their home, so she doesn't read to him. So he is starting school in the lowest percentile for language development. He needs intensive vocabulary development. But Bellevue has large class sizes and less experienced teachers. So he doesn't get the individualized instruction that he needs. He's frustrated because he can't keep up with his peers, so he acts out in class. He's pretty much out at first base. He'll probably be retained in kindergarten or first grade, and without focused parental support, which he's not likely to get, he's always going to be in the bottom third of his class. Without a model for a different path to follow, Jeremy will probably drop out before he finishes high school. Now, Sophia, she's the one with the disabled dad and the mom who's a home health aide. She's lucky enough to be growing up in an English-speaking household with two adults, her father and her grandmother, who have the time to help her with her homework and to read with her. But they can't afford enrichment activities like field trips or a tutor or summer programs. This means she's experiencing something called summer learning loss. Low-income kids lose over 2 months of reading achievement over the summer because of a lack of learning opportunities. Each year, Sophia falls further and further behind her peers. She also has to walk back and forth to school because her family doesn't have a car. She lives in a tough neighborhood, so that walk exposes her to gangs and violence on a daily basis. Kids who are exposed to violence so close that they believe their own lives are in danger can suffer all the symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. With all that going against her, coupled with her family's desperate need for more income, she will probably drop out the day she turns 16 so that she can add a minimum wage job to her family's income. And because of dropping out, she will never be able to bring in much more than a minimum wage. Now, Vanessa's the one with the two working parents who are Spanish speaking. Her parents want her to succeed so much. They want her to have the opportunities that they didn't. So they always get her to school on time. They have always interacted with her verbally and read to her in Spanish. And that was enough to lay down the neural pathways that will enable her to have strong language skills as she picks up English in school. Parents do their best to protect her from the violence in her neighborhood. Now, unlike a lot of her peers, she manages to make it through high school without getting pregnant, without joining a gang. Now, not joining a gang has left her vulnerable to some bullying, but she draws on the reserves of the love of her family, that love has built up over time, and she makes it through high school. After graduation, she enrolls in a geospatial technology course at the JC and graduates with an associate's degree in that field. She's on a career path that will enable her to support herself and her family. Now, as you know, every story has a hero. You're probably thinking that the hero of this story is Vanessa, because she's the one who overcame so many barriers and made it across home plate. Actually, the hero in this story hasn't shown up yet. For as long as people have been able to talk to each other, stories have had morals. We crave justice. And Jeremy and Sophia are still on the other side of those barriers that are keeping them from getting an education. The conflict of this tale won't be resolved until they also make it all the way around the bases. They need a hero who can provide them with the opportunity to succeed. That hero is you. Let's go back and see how Jeremy's story could be different with a hero. Schools of Hope is an early grade reading initiative that engages community volunteers to help children learn the critical reading skills needed to succeed in school and in life. It's sponsored by United Way and the Volunteer Center. For half an hour a week, 8 months out of the year, volunteers work one-on-one with children to improve their reading skills. The program, which provides materials and training, has far more students in need than it has volunteers. So in this version of Jeremy's story, where you're the hero, you sign up to volunteer, and Schools of Hope assigns you to Jeremy when he's in kindergarten. You work with him for just half an hour a week until he's in 3rd grade. At that point, he's reading at grade level, thanks to your help. Since he can read, he can learn. And since he's keeping up with his peers, he doesn't act out in class. You've also been a role model for him just by showing up week after week. Because you've provided him with a consistent, caring adult in his life, he can see and follow a different path in life than the one his parents took. In high school, he gets into a career technical class and graduates with a Cisco networking certificate. He's able to go straight into the workforce in a field with enormous opportunities for growth. And how about Sophia? She's the one whose mom's the home health aide. Now, there is a Boys and Girls Club with a summer program at her school, but it has a waiting list. In this version of the story, you work with your Rotary Club or congregation or book club or cycling group or extended family to do some modest fundraising, which enables that Boys and Girls Club to add an extra staff member. That makes enough room in the club for Sophia. The club provides her with a safe place to be after school and over the summer, away from the violence of her neighborhood. It gives her a structured place with adult support to do her homework every day. It provides her with 1 or 2 extra meals a day, which takes some financial pressure off of her family. Most important, it keeps her reading all summer, erasing the summer learning loss that was causing her to fall behind her peers. With that extra support, Sophia excels in school, so that when her family sees her potential, they refuse to let her drop out of school at 16 because she's on a path to college. Her Boys and Girls Club counselors connect her with the 10,000 Degrees program at her high school, which makes sure that she takes the right classes to qualify for college and also shows her how to apply for scholarships so that she can afford to go to college. She graduates from college with an engineering degree and is quickly able to move her entire family out of poverty. It's within your power to create a better life for Jeremy or Sophia or any of the 1,000 kids in this county each year who do not graduate from high school on time. You can be the hero of their story and give them a happy ending. And along the way, you'll be building that community that you want to live in.